Okay. Hold on 1 minute. There we go. Yeah, we are live. Perfect. We already have 3 people watching. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Chit Chat Geek Out. I'm your host, Steven, and today on the show we have actor Sean Whalen. You guys may know him from movies such as The People Under the Stairs, Never Been Kissed, Idle Hands, Hatchet 3, Twister, just to name a few, as well as countless TV series. Everyone, please welcome to the show, Sean Whalen. How are you?
How are you guys? Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you really much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
No problem. I love to talk to podcasters.
Awesome. And everybody that is watching today, if you have any questions for Sean, just please don't hesitate to ask, and we'll get to your questions. But the first question I have for you, Sean, I want to know what is new with you. Do you have any upcoming projects that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I am coming out in Rob Zombie's sequel to The Devil's Reject.
Yes, of course.
I am have a part in Seth Rogen's next comedy called, well, it doesn't have a title. It's an untitled pickle project. It's slated to come out in fall.
Nice.
And I am working on producing my horror comedy that hopefully we'll be shooting in the next 6 months or so.
It was Crust, right?
Yes.
It's
finally.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up because I'm like when I was watching interviews with you before tonight, and yeah, you kept mentioning this movie Crust, and it sounds so interesting, and that's awesome that you're finally working on it.
Well, these things,
they take a while.
They just take so long. I mean, when I heard that Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese, it took 7 years to get Wolf of Wall Street together. I thought, okay, all right, maybe stuff takes a while.
But yeah, it sure does. It's a lot of work involved.
Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio, that's crazy.
Right? That is crazy.
Yeah.
And Felissa Rose is attached to Crust too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever interviewed her?
Yes, I've interviewed her twice. A few weeks ago, I had 3 of the cast members from Sleepaway Camp. I had Felissa Rose, Jonathan Turston, and Catherine Cammie on the show, and they were all amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were amazing. And Felissa's, I've had her. She was one of my first guests on the show last year, and she's absolutely amazing. Like one of the nicest people ever.
Yeah, she's super fun.
Yeah.
We have a blast when we're together.
Yes.
Actually, speaking of what's coming up, we're going to be at a convention in Cleveland on the 29th and the 30th.
Oh, you're going to be there too? You're going to be at Retro Invasion Weekend as well?
Not Retro Invasion Weekend.
Oh.
I forget what it's on 29th and 30th of here.
Of June, you said? Of June?
Yeah, of June.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, I got confused because when I had the cast on, they were attending a con in Cleveland, Ohio, May 29th to June 2nd. So when I heard 29th, I'm like, oh, you're going to the same one. That's cool, though. So that's.
Oh, yeah, no.
So that's June 2nd, you said? June 2nd till when?
No, June 29th.
Oh, June 29th, sorry.
Yeah, June 29th and 30th.
Awesome. Well, definitely check that out, guys. He'll go visit Sean Whalen there.
Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Rock and Roll City. Hey, everybody in the chat. I'm just looking here. If you guys have any questions for Sean, please don't hesitate to ask. We have 6 people watching right now. I want to know from you, Sean, because you've done so much in the film industry. It's crazy. And one story I found really fascinating about how you got into all this. Obviously, people know you from People on Their Stairs, and that was one of your first roles. But one thing which was amazing that I looked up on is when you did the Got Milk commercial. You got recognized by Steven Spielberg. That got you into Twister, then Men in Black, and then from there. He knew Drew Barrymore, so he got to work with Drew Barrymore and Never Been Kissed. and Charlie's Angels and whatnot. And then he also knew Tom Hanks. So I'm like, it's just, I find it so fascinating how that one part like exploded and you got so many great opportunities in your career.
Yeah, it was really cool. There was a time when Steven Spielberg really liked to go to independent movies to find new actors. I mean, his whole thing was not getting super famous people.
Right.
In the late 80s and the early 90s, he didn't use super famous people. I remember the movie Swingers came out, and then he did a Jurassic Park with Vince Vaughn. You know,
right?
He liked to work with people. He realized that the concept was bigger than the stars, and then it all started to change when the business started to change, and then he started to work with Tom Hanks,
right,
and Tom Cruise, and so things kind of changed. But in that time, he was just looking for cool young actors for Twister, and he did Jeremy Davies from Thanks a Monkey, independent movie, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, who had a small part in Scent of a Woman. Elise was a milk commercial.
Yeah.
Alan Ruck, who had been in movies, not big ones for a while. I mean, so he was going after really cool, interesting, independent actors. So I was really blessed to do that. And then, but the commercial was seen all the time, everywhere throughout town. It played 2 years here before it ever went national.
Right.
It was a California State commercial, and it just ran all the time.
Wow.
So I was just getting a lot of heat. It was, I know what it's like to have heat. And
right.
Things just are different. You walk into a room and they just give you the part. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you still have auditions, but I know, for one, when I did Men in Black, I was upstairs reading with Barry Sonnenfeld and talking to him. He didn't even have me read.
Wow.
Obviously, Steven Spielberg just told him to put me in it.
Wow.
And then the next thing I know, a lot of my friends were telling me that they were auditioning for the same role.
Wow, that's amazing. That is truly amazing. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and then we all have our windows where it's red hot, and then we're back in the grind again.
Right.
That's always the way it is.
It truly is.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
When you started in this career, did you have any role models that made you fall in love with acting?
Well, I loved character comedy. I mean, I loved Mel Brooks movies when I was a kid, and I loved Gene Wilder. I just thought he was amazing. He was so good, and Willy Wonka and Mel Brooks movies. I mean, I loved Young Frank.
Right.
It's one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. And I think it blew my mind when I watched Bonnie and Clyde, and he was in that as well.
Right.
And I thought, wow, this guy's excellent.
Right.
He can do anything. So it was really, really cool to watch anything he did. And then, I just love all. People ask me that a lot, but he's one that comes to mind. But it's a strange thing. I just loved all actors.
Right.
I just loved it all. I loved the whole thing. I didn't have this one person that I glommed onto and said, "Oh, I want to be like him." Mm-hmm. I just loved all actors. I loved all the working people in Woody Allen movies, Coen Brothers movies.
Right. Because the thing is,
John Goodman. John Goodman was, in the early 90s, he was doing stuff with
right.
Byrne and the Coen Brothers. I loved him. I think I just loved all actors that could do comedy and drama. I loved character actors. I thought they were all really amazing. Exactly.
And it's a good point that you make there, because every person, right, they have something different to offer which you can learn from. So that's
exactly.
Yeah, it's a great answer.
So it's weird to like just one person. I mean, I would think, but then people, of course, automatically assume I mean men.
Right.
And, I loved Lucille Ball. I loved Carol Burnett. I loved Holly Hunter. I loved, so many cool comedic women as well. Gilda Radner.
Right.
And people from Saturday Night Live. I mean, I just loved it all.
Yeah, they're all amazing.
Yeah.
Out of your time being in the film industry, what has been the most valuable lesson that you have learned from your past and your present career?
I just think it's like you always be hustling. Like, Melissa and I became friends, and she's just a big, big hustler herself.
Cheers.
And I think we became friends because we always had the same thing. We're always looking for the next thing, always looking for an opportunity, always looking to grow and have fun and explore new things. I mean, it just never ends. People say like, "Oh, when are you going to retire?" I go, "Retire? No actors retire."
Right.
It's my worst. I'll drop over dead in the middle of an acting class that I'm teaching.
Right.
So I think it just never stop hustling, and it never goes the way you want. But what I'm blessed with is I had a career where I was raised by geese and raised being polite, surrounded by a bunch of family members who were fun and funny. So I kind of knew how to be in big groups, and I also had a work ethic that was ingrained into me when I was a child. So, I worked hard and was easy to work with because I always loved meeting people. That was easy for me because being on the set, I love meeting people and having fun. So I'm really lucky that my reputation is such that, people want to work with me now for work I did in the 90s. There's kids in the 90s that are now directors now.
Right.
And are fans from when, I had my big first heyday,
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been the same. So I would just say two things would be ready for anything and never stop hustling. Every day you got to wake up and go, okay, how am I going to expand my career today? And career doesn't mean just acting.
Right.
Acting, teaching, podcast, writing, producing, directing, all of it.
Yeah, it definitely hustling is a big part of that because the film industry is very competitive. So that is a good pointer.
Well, the strongest thing I really believe these days is there's no one thing anymore.
No.
No one is just a director or just an actor. And my ad nauseum mantra is the only Oscar that Brad Pitt ever won was for producing.
Wow. Yeah.
12 Years a Slave. So what does that tell you?
Right.
one of Michael Douglas's first Oscars was for producing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes, that's right.
So no one. I mean, Tony Shalhoub, who did a movie called Big Night with Stanley Tucci. They wrote and directed it, and those guys have been working ever since.
Right.
Because they had to, as two character actors, they got together and wrote and directed the movie, and that's what helped their acting career. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade, and that's what got. Like, he had to make a movie to get acting parts. He was always good. He was always the same. He was always capable. He just, you have to show that you're more than to stick above the crowd.
Yeah, most definitely. And you're talking about how people nowadays don't always stick to one job position in the film industry anymore. Like, I want to mention too, because I know you act, obviously you're an actor, but you've also you have 4 credits as being a writer, or 1 being a director. Can you kind of just talk about briefly on how that was? Because you grew up being an actor until the present, you still are an actor, but was there any challenges when you started doing writing or directing?
When I did Groundling, the Groundling Theater, the great thing is you write your own sketches.
Right.
And so I got my start because I was writing and performing my own material at the Ground Theater.
Mm-hmm.
So already you're getting the writing. And then, you know, I had a good friend, Sam Lloyd, who was on Scrubs. He and I got together. We were at a party and we talked about a really good idea for a movie. He said, I have a great title. It's called President Dog.
Right.
I was like, oh my God. And it was about a really smart talking dog running for president. Oh, this is awesome. It's like a fun parody family movie.
Right.
And we just got together and started writing it. And we actually got the Jim Henson Company loved the script, and we were like the last two writers for their next Muppet movie. And we had a great pitch for Kermit being like a Bond movie, like Frog, James Frog. And they just said, you know what, it's our favorite thing, but we can't, it was legal stuff, you know, doing a parody of James Bond.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's always challenges, but you just keep creating. And I just believe in the energy of when you're creating and moving and trying to make things happen, the kind of universe responds in a way where you all of a sudden, it knows you're putting stuff out there, so you get opportunities. You just get more opportunities because your energy is one of creativity. So then when you go to an audition, you're not curled up in a ball all week going, okay, I have this audition, I got to do well. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go do this audition, and then I got to get back because me and Sam are going to write tonight.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so you're in this zone of confidence and creativity, and then you work more that way because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
Oh my God, if I don't get this audition, if I don't get this part, I'm screwed. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You got things going on.
Yeah. That is exactly what it sounds to be. Like, it's just when you have, for me too, like I always have multiple different projects happening at once. So I'm constantly just trying to finish one before the other. And, you know, you just, while those creative juices are in your head, you got to do it there, then and now.
Yeah. Really funny. I just heard a podcast on NPR. This guy did a TED Talk about how he called it slow multitasking.
Oh, really?
And I guess he was talking about Darwin and how Darwin had started his project about his book about the growth of infants, and it took him 37 years to write it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then he did the thing about earthworms, and he did a thing. But he would go back and forth, and then he'd come back to the other one refreshed, and
right.
You know.
Wow.
And how do we do that kind of useful multitasking now without feeling like overwhelmed and stressed?
Right.
But it's I think that's a huge idea. That's why it's good to have hobbies, you know?
It sure is.
If you're someone who has a job, maybe, like I have a good friend of mine from high school who got into playing the harmonica. He'll post on Facebook that he's playing on all these different bars. He's got a regular job, but he'll go and play all these gigs doing harmonica. I mean, I think it's the enriching part of life that we can have balls in the air. Listen, we multitask anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're in a relationship, we're a partner. If we're parents, we're a father. Then we have a job. We have all these different things that we've got going on anyway. But in this business, you have to keep doing it because you have 20, things that you got going on, and only 4 of them will work.
Right.
So we got to keep going.
Yeah, you really do. And, you just mentioned hobbies and interests on the side. I usually ask my guests that are in the film industry, what are some of your hobbies and interests outside of the film industry? What do you like doing on the side?
I mean, I'm in terms of outside, I'm it's kind of funny because I love entertainment so much that I watch movies and TV and I guess that's not really outside. I do like hiking, but a lot of what I do, I mean, I'm a father of 2 teenage girls.
Right.
And I guess if you ask me, I'd say I love to travel. I really like traveling, going to different places. Again, that's kind of part of this industry because I get to go to horror conventions, sign autographs, and I get to go to different places. Like when I go to Cleveland, I might get to go to a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So a lot of it all revolves around entertainment in one way or the other.
Right.
So it's good that I love to watch TV and movies because that's my industry.
Sure is.
The hobby kind of feeds into it. So not really great at having something that's completely different.
Yeah.
It all usually feeds into it.
Yeah.
Travel, even to me, travel feels like it helps feed the creative juices in.
Yeah. And it's one bonus about being in the film industry is that you get to travel so many different places and going to different cons as well. Get to travel different places. Yeah. That's so cool.
Well, the other thing is I just love meeting new people. I just love having conversations. I'm just fascinated with human behavior, which again is part of my art. But I just love meeting new people.
Yeah. That's the way to go, and that's how you get connections too, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have some people asking some questions in the chat, so I'm going to start looking here. Someone asked in the chat, they said, I love to see a People Under the Stairs Part 2, or will there be a reboot for that movie?
Well, the bad news is it was getting rebooted as a television series on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, wow.
It was in development. Yeah, it was in development, and unfortunately, Wes passed away in the middle of the development.
Oh no, that's too bad. Yeah, that was one of the toughest days for me when he passed because I'm such a big fan of his work, and when that happened, I'm like, I hope he's doing another con soon close by so I can go see him and meet him. Then he passed. It was such a heartbreaking day.
Yeah, he wasn't that old. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Wow. That's too bad.
He had a very interesting life.
He sure did, and I've heard so many, he's an amazing person to work with. So that's so.
Yeah, he was. He was just a genuinely kind, nurturing, fantastic person. Yeah.
Well, I guess you'll keep everyone updated. If a People on Their Stairs reboot ever does happen, I'm sure you'll let everyone know. And and everybody, if you're not yet, following Sean on social media, all the links are down below. So go check them out there. Another question in the chat here. Someone asked, what has been your favorite role and your hardest role to play?
Hardest role to play was probably in an Ang Lee movie where I was playing a drunk kind of cowboy loser guy who wanted in this movie Ride with the Devil. He wanted me to play it very subtle, but my experience of drunk people was not very subtle. So we were kind of going back and we weren't fighting at all. He just kept coming over and going, no, Les, what's the matter? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Mm-hmm. And he was just hammering me. It got me really kind of, not upset, but just exhausted because I've never felt like, I've always figured things out.
Right.
And it turns out when I was done, he said, yeah, I found you. I just dug through all your tricks and gimmicks and I found you.
Wow.
And so that's why I was hard on you. Oh my God! At the time, I was such a huge Ang Lee fan.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me because he was one of my favorite directors, and for him to be that hard on me, you're sitting there going, God, I'm a terrible actor. This guy, he's fantastic, and he's been so suck, But he was doing it on purpose because he was trying to get me broken down.
Oh wow.
So,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and he wasn't cruel or anything like that. It's just, he was right. He exhausted me, and so then I was, I had nothing to give in terms of nothing to act or perform.
Right.
I was just me, and he was right. He got me to that point.
Wow.
And it was a tough lesson, but I learned, you don't want to see the acting.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way.
Wow, that's a really interesting fact there.
Yeah.
Someone, yeah, someone else asked, this is a good question actually. They said, is there an audition that you thought went horribly wrong, but you ended up getting the role?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously there's a lot of auditions. But I think it was I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think there was like a Nickelodeon show where I thought I just knocked it out. I did a self tape at home, and I thought I was not very good. And I just sent it off and thought, oh well, I'll never hear from them again. And I booked it the next day. Yeah, it was kind of weird. I was on the show School of Rock. It was their version of School of Rock.
Oh, cool.
And I missed the audition. I had something I had to do that day. And I just went home and they said, look, just please just tape it. We don't want to say that you didn't tape it. And I said, all right. So I just knocked it out. And I think that's why, because I had no worries about it. I thought, oh, this will just be fun. This is not fun.
Right.
And figure I'll never get it. You know? I think that's why I got it.
Yeah.
And when you don't care and overthink it, goes back to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I totally hear you. And
yeah.
We still have questions in the chat, but before I forget, guys, I'm actually gonna go to the Instagram questions really fast here, really quick. We had an Instagram message come in, and we also had a Facebook message come in for the show. Someone asked, "What was it like to wear the cut-off tongue prosthetic on people under the stairs?"
You know, it's funny you asked that because when I did it, when I first shot my first scene, this has been around the internet a lot. So
right.
It's not a new story, but I get shot at and I go behind the wall, and when I did, Wes called me over and said, "Here, watch this scene," and you could hear me go, "Oh shit!" He said, "You can't talk," and so I thought, you know what? I just wore the prosthetic tongue to show me what it was like. So it's just like it's almost like a glove for my tongue. You know, I just slipped it over the end of my tongue. So it was very easy to take in and out. So I thought, you know what, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to wear this the rest of the movie.
Right.
And I would have it with me, or the prop person would have it. So right before I made a take, I would just slip it on. Then I could do whatever I wanted and never worry about talking because I couldn't talk.
That's true. And that probably that probably made the role easier for you.
Way easier. I can just express myself and be myself 100% instead of worrying if I'm talking or not.
Right.
It was a really happy accident, and I really believe it freed me so much to play and to get that kind of youthful spirit. I mean, I was playing a 15-year-old and I was 27 years old.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. I was 27 when I did that role. People go like, "Oh my God, you're a man." I go, "Yeah, I was a man."
That's a crazy age difference from what you're supposed to be actually playing.
Yeah.
You had another question that came in through Facebook, and this one was, how was it working with Sonya Deville from WWE, and has she taught you any moves?
I wish she would teach me some moves. She has not yet. She's phenomenal. I love working with her. She's just a hustler, a go-getter, eager to learn, no ego, you know, just humble and hardworking and fantastic. So, yeah, and we're not done. You know, we're ongoing right now.
That's so cool.
We work every couple weeks. And yeah, there's some fun things in the works that I can't really talk about. But yeah, I'm trying, you know, my goal, hey, as an acting teacher would be help her become the female Rock, right? Right. That's what I'm thinking. So, I think she can do it because she's really, really cool.
Yeah.
She's a really cool woman.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cause
yeah, all good. My answer is awesome, fun, and I have a great time.
Very cool. And I was gonna bring up too, because yeah, you do teaching classes. And I thought that's really cool just to have like someone like you that has been in the industry for so long, that does acting classes now and is being a coach. I think that's amazing. Can you talk briefly about that?
Yeah, I started coaching like 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know when it was, like I did a thing in Memphis, or a friend told me to go to Memphis, and I did this one workshop. And it was amazing to realize how much I actually knew,
Mm-hmm.
And with the love of meeting new people, it was easy to meet new people and try to share what I knew. I think at the beginning I talked too much, and that's always been one of my problems. So I had to work on that, but then I came home and started coaching people locally. And then a few years ago, like 4 years ago, a friend said, you should start teaching classes. And that was, God, I love doing that. And I learned from Mindy Sterling, who is Ralph Orbisona on Austin Powers, who was my mentor at the Groundlings. And she was just fun and loved teaching. And I had students when I had my own kind of school. I worked out at James Franco's school, Studio 4.
Wow.
And then when that closed, some students, since I didn't have the school behind me, they went other places, which was fine, but it's so funny. They're all finding their way back to me now, because they said, we went out there and we've never had a teacher that cared as much as you did.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool. So it's great. I love it. I just had a young woman today who I coached, who's trying to move from stand-up into acting, and Sue Argawal, really funny stand-up comedian. And I coached her on Mindy Kaling's like nationwide search, and she made the top 10 and went in for that today. So
wow.
That's really exciting. So it's really fun to see people grow and get better, get more opportunities. And I love using students. A lot of my students actually are going to be in trust. So it's fun. You want to give back. I had a fantastic coach when I was coming after I went to Playhouse West with the Growlings and Playhouse West. His name was Mark Spiegel, and he actually broke Tia Carrera, Kathleen Dean, and a bunch of people, myself.
Wow.
And he lived in the rattiest little apartment, but he was phenomenal. He just knew how to really get the best out of me. Mm-hmm. And then the coolest thing about him was when I taught him for like 4 or 5 years, and when I made all the choices, I got an audition, I've made a ton of choices, mm-hmm. and he said, you don't need me anymore. You figure this out for yourself. Don't come pay me anymore. You're excellent. You've got it. I taught you how to fish, so now go fish. Wow. So it was great. And it's funny, like just recently with all these deaths of people, famous people, I'm like, I've got to find him. I got to find him.
Yes.
I got to just to say thank you.
Reconnect. I was actually just about to say, have you talked to him, like keep in touch, but I guess not.
Yeah, well, I want to, because he's not where he used to be. So what I have to do is get in touch with Tia Carrera's people.
Oh, I see.
She'll remember me and say, I guess she had some connection to him. So I'm going to try to find him, and just I might even bring him on my podcast. What's your podcast? Yeah, so I have a podcast called Acting Class Weekly with Sean Whalen. It's on AfterBuzz TV.
Okay, cool.
Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro's station. I don't know if you ever heard of AfterBuzz. They're pretty big with all the after shows.
Wow, did not know that.
Thrones after shows, TV show after shows. It's one of the biggest YouTube networks. And they asked me to do a podcast called Acting Class Weekly with Sean Whalen. Really.
Wow. That's so cool.
Hands-on information for actors, and acting tips on, from getting a headshot to tomorrow. I'm doing a whole episode on how to network.
Wow.
People just don't understand how important networking is.
It's really important.
Oh my God! The old adage, "It's not what you know, it's who you know," is so true. Like, so true.
It is. Just like,
and I'm going to be talking about that. And I even did one on, dealing with the anxiety and depression when you get rejected.
right.
Not, over and over again. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with getting a headshot? Last week's episode was all about, you're a parent, you want to get your kid into acting. How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And I have special guests. I have Danny Franzese from Mean Girls. I did have Mindy Sterling on my show, Crowdflow Business. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's really informative and very useful. So if you're getting into acting, you should definitely listen to it.
Wow, it's amazing. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Everyone else in the chat, please go make it sure to go check it out too. And, I'm a young guy. I'm 20 years old, and I want to get into the film industry, doing directing and video editing and all that stuff. I actually just wrapped up my first short film script, and now that's in the process of getting finalized and getting a crew together. Is there what's advice would you give to a person that wants to get into this field?
And what aspect would you want to focus on first? Because you do want to pick a lane first. Like I'd pick acting first,
Yeah, I'm thinking of directing.
Well, you want to do directing? Well, then you're doing everything right. You want to get a crew together and shoot stuff.
Yeah.
You want to start shooting stuff. Right. Do you have any interest in going to a film school, or is that available to you?
It's available to me, but a lot of them require like a type of portfolio. They want to see your work and what you've done so far. So, once I wrap up that short film, because I'm getting actually my friend's a special effects makeup artist, and she's actually on my YouTube channel a bit now. We're doing a little segment, and she went to Sheridan, which is an Archie school with a bunch of film people. So we're going to get a team, like a volunteer student team from her, and we're going to shoot this summer, hopefully.
Yeah, that is literally what you have to do. You literally just have to do it.
Right.
You have to be willing to make mistakes, and it's not going to be the best film in the world the first time out. It might be, but you're still going to learn stuff to make the next one better and different.
Of course.
I mean, it's a journey. It's a journey. Just like anything to be an expert, a master, you have to put in 10,000 hours. So
really do.
You just got to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I was talking to Sue, the girl I was telling you about today, who's a stand-up, and she agreed that if you want to be a stand-up, you have to do 5 years of constant shows, and you have to be willing to suck, be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, that it's part of the journey, and you're young enough, so do it as much and as often as you can.
Thank you for the advice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll do a couple more questions. I know we have another podcast after here, so I'll let you go soon. One question I really want to know, you've been on so many countless television shows. One of my favorite shows that you've been in is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I absolutely love that show. It's so crazy.
So crazy.
How was it work on that show? Like, how is it?
It was really great. I got to work with a couple of McFoyles, the sister McFoyles. Her and I sat together in the courtroom. They hired me because I looked like Ryan McFoyle a lot, and I ran into each other. We ran into each other one time, and we were both like, oh, okay. He's a great guy, super nice guy, but that's why they hired me for that joke.
Wow.
To look like him. But it was fun seeing, the three guys, Charlie and Glenn, to see those guys take turns, one guy being behind the camera, the other two being out front acting, then they'd switch, another guy would go behind the camera and go on the monitor, and then another guy was just yelling out fun lines to punch up, and they do a take of them doing some funny new lines. All three of them working together to make it happen.
Wow.
That was really cool. That was really cool to see like a true collaborative effort with no real ego,
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
That was really, it was really cool. That was the best part of watching that.
Awesome.
I admire those guys a lot. I'd love to work like that.
Yeah, they're great. We'll go to one last fan question here, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
Last, let's see. I'm just looking at a fan question here. Oh, this is actually a good question. This is actually one of my questions too. I was going to ask. I forgot to, but thanks for reminding me. Jessica, Shadow Perfection. She's a friend of mine in the chat. She says, "Who is someone you always want to work with you got the chance, and what kind of genre of film would you, I guess, want to star in with them?
I love doing comedy, so I think I would love to work with Judd Apatow on something.
Nice.
I think that would be really cool to do a comedy with him. I think he's really, I think his comedies are funny. I think he really helps develop people. Like, I love The Big Sick, what he did. I got to work with Seth Rogen, and that was cool too to see that. So, but I think it would, right now, comedically, it would be really fun to work with Judd Apatow. And I'd love to work with some of the great comedy women. I'd love to work with Tina Fey or Amy Poehler or one of those guys.
Yeah, that would be amazing. They're hilarious.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be really, really great.
Yeah,
it's a good question because I never really think about that. But
that's a good question.
I love comedy. I got into this business through comedy,
right?
And so that's my first love. And ironically, I do mostly, half and half.
Yeah,
and probably a little more drama. So I would love to do more.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a great actor. Like, since I was a kid, I've always seen you in things, and it's just I always see your face popping up, and you're such an amazing actor. You've been in so much. And Sean, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate you taking the time today. It's been an honor, and I appreciate everyone else in the chat too, asking your amazing questions. And before I let you go, Sean, do you mind doing a plug for the show?
Not at all. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
What are my lines?
All right. So just state your name. So state your name and say you're listening to Chit Chat and Geek Out on Geek Out Cinema.
Chit Chat and Geek Out on Geek Out Cinema.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Hi, my name is Sean Whalen. You're listening to Chit Chat and Geek Out on Geek Out Cinema.
That was perfect. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. And I wish you the best for 2019 and your newest projects and the works. I'm looking really forward to it. And everybody that's watching, make sure to go check out Sean on social media and keep updated to what he's up to. All the links are down in the description below. But yeah, and thanks again, Sean. You've been an amazing guest, and I hope you have a great night.
Hey, thank you so much. And hey, go make your film.
Yes, I'll keep you updated and let you know how it goes.
Yeah, let me know.
All right, great.
Talk to you later. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that was my interview with Sean Whalen. Thank you all for tuning in. It was really fun. It was a really fun interview tonight. So I appreciate you all stopping by, asking some amazing fan questions. And guys, if you'd like to keep updated to see guests that I'm getting on the show, please make sure to go check me on Instagram. It's at Geek Out Cinema. I'll leave the link to my Instagram in the description below after the show. And yeah, I appreciate you all watching tonight. It's been really fun, and I hope to see you all next week. Take care, guys. Have a great night. Bye now.